Happy New Year. Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for 2025. Now, I will be doing a quick take for the year ahead for 2025, what it entails as far as the global cycle, the universal cycle that we'll be working with. I'll be putting that out as it gets closer to, as we get closer to 2025. So have a listen to that if you're interested to know more about, again, the overall energy of 2025 and how to best work with it, more on a mundane level. This video is, again, focused on what you can expect for your personal life path number. Now, please note, your personal year, which is derived from your own personal numerology, can be very different, and it takes priority over this reading for your life path. The personal year will be most dominant. And then, of course, this energy you'll be feeling, but it won't be as dominant as the personal year. So if you're interested in finding out what your personal year is, what that forecast entails, and for a specialized reading dedicated to your own personal numerology, then I suggest having, obviously, a reading. And my information is in the description box below. If you would like to work with me, I would love to take a look. And of course, this is a general forecast, so keep that in mind as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look to see what we've got cooking in 2025. Life Path 11-2. So you all are going to be working with vibration of the 22, so 202. So ultimately, your own life path energy of the 2 with the influencing energy of the 20. So with this influencing energy of the 20, this brings in the potential for 2025 being a year full of lots of turning points and a lot of decisions that need to be made. Some quite pivotal and some quite life-changing. So some of the decisions that you make this year, could be very defining in what transpires over the coming years. Meaning you could look back in 5 years and be like, wow, 2025 was such a pivotal year for me. And so, I don't say that to put the pressure on the decisions that you'll be making this year. I say that because, when it comes time to make those decisions, you're going to make the decisions that are best for you in that moment. And, they're going to be defining. They're going to be important. So you want to take your time. You want to come back to you. You want to make sure that you feel into it, that it feels good for you, that you're not simply saying yes to accommodate someone else's needs or expectations, but that you're taking yourself into consideration as well. So there is this sort of this weight to the decisions that you'll make this year. And so it is important that you take your time, that you, again, come back to self, come back to your center, make sure that you are taking yourself into consideration as well as others in making these decisions, whatever they may be. And the power of this 20 energy is that, again, it brings in the events that require the decisions, and those decisions create the turning points. So you could see a lot evolve this year. You could see a lot of change and growth and transformation this year, but it's all sort of riding on and comes back to the decisions that you make. And again, it's not to be like, put all this pressure on your decisions, but just know there's weight to those decisions. And the way to, again, make the best decision is to come back to self, come back to your inner knowing for what it is that you need, that you want, the direction you want to be moving towards in this moment. So really powerful in that sense. So you could find yourself at a lot of crossroads this year, a lot of opportunities for making those decisions. And, a lot of times these decisions might need to be made rather quickly. So there's not a lot of time to reach out to 12 different people and get 12 different opinions or advice, right? So there's not that time to convolute your decision making process. It really is going to require you to make that, make the decision, go with it, and then work through the repercussions of that decision. Because every decision has some kind of consequence, good or uncomfortable. And if it's good, great. If it's uncomfortable, then you know what? We just move through that uncomfortableness and get to the other side and make different decisions. It's, That's part of the journey of life. So, this year I think is gonna require you to flex that muscle, that decisive muscle, and get back into a place where you feel good about your experience because you know that you were at the helm of creating that experience, right? Through your decisions. Powerful year for that. This can be a really exciting year. There can be a lot of moving parts, a lot of new opportunities, a lot of change, and again, growth this year. But you're going to have to stand firm, follow your heart, and again, make the best decision that has the potential to move you in the direction of your inspirations, your visions, and your goals. And not get too caught up in the excitement of what could be, but to really be present with what is and what it is that you want to create. All while staying adaptable, right? For moving through whatever life presents, and then again, making decisions accordingly. So there is that possibility that this year could bring up some of the shadows, right? Like the self-doubt, the lack of confidence, the feelings of not feeling worthy, all of the things that keep us stuck. They could come up and rear their ugly heads this year. But just remember, there's polarities in life, right? We all have a light side and a dark side. And it's finding the marrying of the two, being able to work with both sides of ourselves that really gives us the most potential, that allows us to step into the highest version of ourselves. And so this year, you could kind of get an idea of where some of those, where you have to face some of those shadows, like truly face them, right? Like if you have that fear of being seen, then put yourself in situations where you're being seen and you'll show yourself, you'll prove to yourself it's not that scary, right? It's not that bad. You can move through it. You can get through it. So this year has the potential to really show you a lot about yourself and what you're capable of, but you're going to have to be the one that says yes to the experience, right? Because you can always kind of keep going back into the shadows. And, the life will just keep repeating with the challenges to help push you out of the shadows, or to at least work with the shadows. So you could see that, those pesky self-doubts, those things that keep us stuck could really come to the surface at this time to be worked through, right? To be faced, to be incorporated in some way that's healthier. And so, I would say stay open to seeing alternative ways of doing things beyond what you quote unquote know to be the best way, because it's through those different perspectives, different opportunities for that growth that's going to give you the most deeper understanding about yourself, right? That's what's going to build your confidence. That's what's going to show you what you are capable of. You're kind of proving it to yourself. This would be a year to weigh your options, right? Formulate a flexible plan. Have a plan, but let it be flexible, right? Don't be too rigid that you sort of lose sight of the goal to control the outcome. So be flexible, be open. Don't be too quick to dismiss. Don't be too quick to, be too cynical or skeptical. Be skeptical, ask questions, make sure that, feel into it, make sure that it feels aligned, all of the things, really explore what's being presented to you, but, and formulate that plan, but be flexible, be open, because that's where the magic is going to happen. And again, this can be with career, with creative endeavors, with relationships, with your own personal journey of coming back to self, so many things. But with everything this year, remain flexible, right? Don't be too quick to close a door and then keep that door closed. Definitely, this is going to be a year where you're going to have to make a decision and then commit to something and then take action. This is not a year for being idle. This is a year for being decisive. This is a year for taking action and turning your ideas into something practical. This is a period for growth where those future realizations are now germinating, right? You're planting those seeds. You're seeing them grow. You're a part of that process. So Don't remain idle this year. This is absolutely a year where you want to get started. You want to be decisive and then take action and commit to it and see it through to completion. And it will evolve and grow along the way, of course, and don't be too rigid in that process. And by the end of the year, I think you'll be really pleased with what you've created, with what you've, who you've become, and, what this year has provided. Keep in mind, this is a long cycle. This is a year long. So you're not going to see everything, come to fruition January 1st. Of course, this is going to be one that's going to continue to progress. Any long cycle takes time to see, sort of the end of the story. And so, you're starting a new storyline this year that's probably going to be filled with lots of crossroads and lots of decisions and lots of, taking action and committing to something and seeing it through to completion, etc. But by the end of the year, you'll be able to look back and again be like, wow, I can't believe I created this. I can't believe that this happened. I can't believe that, I was a part of this or whatever, right? Through, again, your decisions, this is kind of a year, because ultimately we're always making decisions, right? Whether we're easily influenced by someone else in making those decisions, or if we're making the decisions ourselves through our own, again, our own will. But ultimately, we're the ones making the decision every single time. And we're the ones that have to move through the consequences of those decisions. But this year, this 20 influencing energy is reminding you that you are always the one making the decision. So you might as well make the decision from a place that feels good for you, from a place that makes sense for you, for a place that's getting you to the destination that you want to be moving towards. So it's going to be a powerful year, I think. And the best way for you to experience having to make those decisions, those important life decisions, is by being put in situations where a decision has to be made. So that's kind of the storyline for this year for you all 11s is, what decisions will you make? What does the story, what do you want the storyline to look like? What do you want the experience to look like? And that's all going to be based on the decisions that you make, right? Our decisions drive our actions, drive our experiences. So this year is kind of a big reminder of that, putting the power back in your hands, while also, again, remaining flexible to what life presents, because we can't control that. Big year for you guys. Now, it's interesting because your animal wisdom message this year is seal energy. And so what I love about this is, we kind of talk about polarities and how there's polarities in everything in life. And, when there's something challenging, there's always something beautiful happening at the same time. When there's something ugly, there's something beautiful. When there's when there's something light, there's something dark. We live in a world and a universe of polarities. And so I love seal energy coming through, because seal energy is this very playful, very jovial, very light type of energy. And I'm not saying that what you're moving through 2025 is going to be dark and heavy. It's just going to be likely a bit uncomfortable, because making decisions is hard for any human sometimes, and so, especially when they're really important decisions. And so that can feel really uncomfortable. And, seal energy just reminds you to find the levity, to not take life so serious, to not take things so serious, to find the levity in that situation, to laugh at yourself, to laugh at the situation, to bring that light, infuse that light into the situation, to be able to see things more clearly, right? So it's this invitation with seal energy coming through to find your joy, to connect with the things that make you happy, to surround yourself with the people who support you, to lean into the happiness, because happiness is really something that we do create, right? It's not something that's handed over to us. There can be things that light us up, that inspire us, that bring us joy, but that true happiness is something that we create for ourselves. And seal energy coming through is just that reminder. So to move through what life presents to you, but also to be aware of and to embrace and to enjoy the divine blessings that are also taking place at the same time. So beautiful energy. Love it for you all 11s. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now.